Hi, I'm Andrew from Ether Automation, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to add line items into a record in Zoho Creator, right? So in the previous video, we created a work order based on an order being accepted or placed. In this video, we're going to edit that work order with the components and the required material. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Hopefully this is the right screen, otherwise it'll be a short video. And there we go. So if you remember from our previous video, we created this work order, right, using this function, right? So right down here, we created a work order. That work order doesn't have the products in there or the material list. So that's what we want to add in this one. So let's start out. We're going to modify the existing code. And if you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link on the screen. But we're going to modify this code here at the bottom. So how do we modify it? Let's just make some space. First thing we want to do, we want to get the work order. Then we want to assemble the materials collection. Update the work order with materials. Then we want to assemble the product collection. And we want to update the work order with products, right? Very straightforward. So we're going to start here. We're going to go work order equals work orders. And then we're going to say the name is this, name equals this, and it's for this order right here. Save that, make sure it works. So now that we have the work order, we want to assemble the materials collection. Now, Zoho Creator has a weird way of allowing you to update or making you update subforms, right? So we're going to start out and we're going to make something called a material collection. Let me spell that correctly. Equals collection, right? Then we want to go through each of the materials. Now, earlier in here, we had this list of materials, right? So we have that list of materials. So then we want to go, if list of materials not equal null, then we want to go for each list of materials. I'll call it potential materials. So for each of the potential materials in the list of materials, we want to do something interesting. The first thing we want to do is define the row. So we'll call it material row equals. Then we're going to put the form name, right, which is work order dot materials list, right? And then now we can define specific objects within that material row. So let me just show you that real quick right here. Go down to work orders. So we have the material, the quantity on hand, the quantity needed. So we could say material row dot materials equals, then we want to look at potential material, there we go, dot get, and we want to get something in that potential material. And if you remember, we have the potential material, right? Potential material dot material. right? That's basically what we put in here. And then the quantity that we need. So this is a okay. So we might not actually be able to use this list of materials here. So we may actually need to create a new list of materials similar to how we did it up here, right? So let's go ahead and do that. So we have the order. Let me open up an order record here. So in order to get the materials, we want to look at the product, right? So the line items, and then look at the product. And then within that product, right, we want to get the available materials, right? So let's go for each order dots line items, for each line item, if line item dot product, let's actually look at what that looks like. Order line item dot products, and then within that product, we can look at product material does not equal null, right? Similar to up here, right, where we have number of materials. Actually, let's just copy this. Okay, so we're now saying for each line item, right, we're going to go through, we're going to grab the line item, then we're going to grab the products and product materials. And if the product materials does not equal 0, so if the size is not 0, right, much like we have up here, right, then we have a list of materials for that particular product. And so now what we want to do is we want to make a material list equals list. And we're going to add all and let's save this. Right. So now we have a material list, right? And this is what we're going to use right here. So for each material, potential material in the material list, right, we create that row. And then before we can actually add that material in there, we could do this, right? We could say just potential material. And that would be fine, but we still need the quantity. So we're going to go back up to here, right? And we're going to make a map, material map equals map, right? And then we actually want to iterate through the product materials. And we want to do that here. So for each list of materials, material to add, so we have the map, and we're going to go material map dot put item, comma, and that is the material to add dot material. And then the second thing we want to add is the quantity. Quantity, and then the material to add is based off of the order line item multiplied by the quantity there. Material to add times the order line item dot quantity. So now we have a map, and so a map in this list. So once we get this thing here, we actually want to go dot get, and we want to get the item out of it. And then beneath that, we want to get the quantity. So now it's not the, what is it? If I go to the work order, we want to get the quantity needed right here. Right? So now, because we have this material row and we've added some items to it, then we want to go back and add this to the collection, right? Dot insert material row and save. So now that we have all of that information, now that we have the work order, we can go work order dot material list equals material collection. Oh. Dot insert. So we insert that collection into the materials list. And now if I go to the, let me delete this work order. Click delete. And let's go to the order. Let me grab the ID. So this one right here. Now, if I were to execute this, seems to have worked. So let me go to the work orders. There's a new work order with our material list and the quantity needed, right? So then we would actually do the same process with the products, right? If I go back to my code, right, we want to create a product collection, right? And in order to do that, again, we have the line items. So let's go ahead and make a product collection equals collection, right? And then we want to follow the same process here, right? Product list equals list. And then up here, we have this for the order line items. And so we can pretty much just copy this again. Right, so we now have the order, let me do that. So we now have the line items of the order. We go to the order. So we have the products here and the quantity here. We can actually just go through each of those, right, and add it to the product collection, right? So I'm just, so let's add the, same process. So up here where we have this list of materials, We don't need that anymore. We can just yeah, actually, we don't need that at all. So we can just go ahead and say work order product row equals work order dot assembly list. Then but the assembly list is just the product and the quantity. So product let me put a semicolon here. Product row dot products equals the order line item dot the products, and then the product row dot the quantity is equal to the order line item dot the quantity, right? And then finally, we want to actually add this. Insert. We want to add the product row there. And then finally down here, much like up here, we say work order dot, what is it? The assembly list dot insert the product collection. Go ahead and save. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this work order. Let's go ahead and delete. And we're going to run the same function as we did last time with the same order. Let's click execute. There we go. And now when I go to work orders, we have a new work order. We have our materials in there and our products, right? So it automatically puts in the materials, it automatically puts in the products, right? So that your team can start assembling it. We have our related purchase orders, et cetera, et cetera. So there you go. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you have an idea for some Deluge that you need help with, post a comment, gladly make a video in the future. I'll see you in the next video.